Make financial decisions that work. Sunny FM presents Start Right 2026, a powerful financial growth seminar focused on cash flow, multiple streams of income, how to earn, keep, multiply, and sustain your money in 2026. Learn directly from Kwabena Obingdako and Yawa Hansen Kwao. If you want to stop struggling, invest wisely, and build long-lasting wealth. Start Right 2026 is on Saturday, 31st of January 2026 at the Dan Peters Memorial Hall, Sunny FM, Accra. Time is 9 a.m. prompt. It's only 600 Ghana cedis. To register, call 054 522 3324. That's 0545 223324.
It's gotta start right here. It's gotta start right.
As we step into a brand new year, one question matters most. Are your finances ready for 2026? This January, don't just make resolutions, make financial decisions that work. Sunny FM presents Start Right 2026, a powerful financial growth seminar focused on cash flow, multiple streams of income, how to earn, keep, multiply, and sustain your money in 2026. Learn directly from Kwabena Obingdako and Yawa Hansen Kwao. If you want to stop struggling, invest wisely, and build long-lasting wealth. Start Right 2026 is on Saturday, 31st of January 2026 at the Dan Peters Memorial Hall, Sunny FM, Accra. Time is 9 a.m. prompt. It's only 600 Ghana cedis. To register, call 054 522 3324. That's 0545 223324.
It's gotta start right here. It's gotta start right.
As we step into a brand new year, one question matters most. Are your finances ready for 2026? This January, don't just make resolutions, make financial decisions that work. Sunny FM presents Start Right 2026, a powerful financial growth seminar focused on cash flow.
Last but one reset series right here on the I Am Drive. I think I'm not hearing you as well as I should, Ajimai. Yes, 405, but I'm not hearing you as well as I should. Anyway, we're just that along the way. So we are live on Facebook, also on YouTube. You can also
I think every guest who has actually passed through this month has shared a different aspect of our lives, which comes back to the grace of God.
Yeah.
If we trust Him absolutely.
Exactly.
If we put everything in His hands.
Yeah.
Because there are people, I remember Dr. Osei, who had to leave AGC, which is, I think now, Ashanti, that was Ashanti Gold,
Ashanti
right?
Gold.
And with all the perks and things,
Yeah.
education secured for his children, left to do ministry. Sometimes had to patch with people, to live by.
Yeah.
And has had all his children study through Oxford,
God is taking care of them.
And all
Taking care
of
of
that.
them.
Things he probably couldn't have afforded if
Yeah.
he were to be
Yeah.
in that industry. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
God's provision
Yeah.
when we
Yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
trust Him, Jenny. So it's been beautiful. And I hope that, especially for those who are looking to go into agribusiness,
Exactly.
today is a must listen.
I agree.
Stay right
I agree.
here with us. Don't forget, we're going to be live. We're live on the Sunny TV GH app, all right? So pictures are always beautiful over there. So catch the pictures right there. And we're live on our socials as well. Sunny 88.7 on Facebook, on YouTube, and on the radio as well.
All right, and we are excited this morning to have Mrs. Henrietta Opokua Amissah. She's currently Managing Director of Cocoa Inputs Limited. She wears many hats, and today we'll see if we can touch us on as many as we can. But first, we'd like her to let us a bit into her life of what she does now. Yeah, what a day in her life looks like day to day.
All right, thank you very much for this opportunity to
So
be.
we need the microphone a little closer to you so that we can hear you much
Okay.
louder. Yes.
So thank you very much for the opportunity to be in the studio this morning. I was saying to Jenny earlier, my husband and Cyril have ambushed me to be on this program.
Thank you
know-
very
I
much
know they are
Yes.
to the two of you.
All right, so currently I'm managing an agribusiness by name Cocoa Inputs Limited. It's an agrochemical trading company with a network of shops in the farming communities. So we're based predominantly in the cocoa and food crops growing areas. The interesting thing about this organization that I currently work for is that 3 years ago it was dead actually. One of the staff said to me, "Oh, why have you taken this job? This company is dead and buried in the ground. Why have you taken it up?" And so, by God's grace, 3 years down the line, we have resurrected, and we are beginning to see a lot of thriving. Cocoa Inputs, I saw this as a challenging opportunity to take up because Ghana is an agricultural-based economy. So my mom always says that if you do a food business and you do it well, you cannot fail. So, and having studied and worked in the space, I knew that even though the company was very challenged, if I took up the challenge, come in with God's grace, with a lot of help from God, not myself, because it's been a tough journey, we will rise again. And I see that happening 3 years down the line. I see a good rise, a very good rise, and we're very grateful to God. We can delve deeper into that, but that's just the gist of what I currently do.
Jenny, I'm tempted to ask, Madam, is there a story today when it sort of comes back, it plays in your mind again, you laugh about maybe the time you went, some of the huge challenges you were faced today, when you remember, you're like, oh God, you're just too amazing.
I rightly so, when I was approached by my friend to take up this offer, because I was sitting in my little corner doing my little agribusiness. I had spare capacity, so I decided to mentor university students, because I'm like, every year there are chunks of students coming out with agricultural degrees, but when I go on the field, I don't see the students. So where are they? There's a mismatch. I want to find out why the big gap. You see them in other sectors of the economy, banking, development work, other things, but they're not really in real agric. Meanwhile, they have learned to be able to help improve agriculture in Ghana. So it was on one of these journeys that one of my friends said, "Hey, I have a job for you. You need to consider this." And indeed, when he spoke to me at first, I said, my background is animal science. I'm not an agronomist. I don't know. My agronomy knowledge ends at level 200, and I haven't done any agronomic work, related to that. Then he says, "Oh, Hetty, I believe you. You can do it." And I'm like, okay, I need to pray about this because it's a complete shift. And so when I took time to, reflect upon it, pray about it, saw the documentation, the reports didn't look good, but I still said that, "God, I'm going to trust you. If this is what you want me to do, or if you feel that I have the competency and capacity to help this business grow, then I'm going to trust you to lead the way." And he took me to Ezekiel 37, the valley of dry bones. He breathed into them, they came alive, became a whole mighty army. And that scripture is what I've been working on this journey, because I said, "God, this is dead bones completely. How are we going to be able to resurrect it unless you come and breathe life into the business? Breathe wisdom to me, grant me favor with our suppliers and our partners and our staff, because you're going into an institution where things are broken down. You're going to definitely have to take some very tough measures. Not everybody is going to be happy with you." if you want to make it work, you will not victimize people, but as a matter of principle, you have to do what is right. And not everybody will be happy with you, But we had to take that step because we said we're standing on the word of God. If God could resurrect dead, dry bones into a whole army, then obviously this is nothing that he cannot do. So as I look back, it's been an interesting journey. It has been tough. There have been days with tears, lots of prayer mixed with, you can't do this without prayer. And God has just been gracious. So I look back and I am grateful, for holding our hands up until now. And we're still trusting him all the way.
I think, Henrietta, what I want to know is before you started off on the road of entrepreneurship, you were in the corporate world for a while. Tell me
Yes, I
about your
was.
time in the corporate world, where you were, what you were doing. And I'm sure it must have served you well. Why did you transition?
Well,
Take you back.
take me back.
Yeah.
That's quite a journey.
Take me back.
So so I think that I kind of what I did along my life journey whilst I was a student is that I tried to volunteer for every opportunity I got. I wasn't the type that sat home for vacations. I would go on a farm and volunteer my skills. I would find something to do. Even I remember at a point in time I was once working on a farm, and we had so much eggs we couldn't sell. And my director said to me that, Hetty, when this happens, we're waiting for customers to pick up. They won't pick up, and it goes bad. And because we're not sure the state of it, I'm like, okay, so let's go give it to school children. He says, we can't do that because some could be bad. So along the way, I was even selling eggs, But then I transitioned to corporate Ghana around 2003, 2004. I started off with the British High Commission. I worked in trade and investment, for a while. I did that for, I think, 3.5 years. And I'm a person who loves challenges. So over the years, I felt my role was quite monotonous. I was doing the same thing, promoting trade between Ghana and the UK, encouraging Ghanaian businesses to source products from the UK, encouraging British investors to come into Ghana, doing reports, trade missions. It became a bit boring for me, so I was looking for another challenge.
Done this for how many years?
I'd done this
when
for
you started feeling
I'd
bored.
done for 3.5 years.
Okay.
3.5 years, and then I transitioned. And I have to say that my boss wasn't happy. My high commissioner wasn't happy. Why, you're so good in your job, why are you leaving? But for me, I just felt that I'd peaked. It wasn't challenging anymore, and I wanted to move into another space. So at the time, a colleague of ours had transitioned into a job, and the company was doing very well. It was a group of company, UT Holdings,
Okay.
So UT was really flourishing. And I said, oh, I like the challenge. As she told me what she was doing and how the company was growing. So I said, oh, I like the challenge. And I recall going for the interview. The CEO then was part of the panel. And after the interview, he said to me that, oh, I think you would do very well at UT Logistics, because they had a holding company. UT Logistics was basically into commodity trading, was now venturing into commodity trading. And when he recruited me, he says, oh, I think you would do very well at UT Logistics. So I was engaged, went to UT Logistics to help build UT Logistics. And basically, UT Logistics, we were supposed to find and do commodity trading. My boss at the time, Richard Aban, had gone for a conference in Switzerland to find opportunity with the grains group, because we realized that, rice and sugar was predominantly dominated by the Lebanese, and we didn't have the skill set to compete. So we're looking for another product that will give us an even playing ground. And he chanced into a conversation that said that, maize and soya for poultry industry is a thing. So Richard quickly said, oh God, then I need to go for this conference where all these suppliers who supply maize and soya are going to congregate. And I was employed in his absence. And he tells me, Hetty, this was divine because your background is poultry science. And I had gone for this conference and I had no clue. And PK knows, Amabi knows that I like to recruit, especially my deputy. I would like to interview the person myself and recruit her or him. So I was quite surprised when he came and he said, Richard, I have a deputy for you, And then when we got to talking, he just realized that, oh, it just fits him perfectly.
It's falling in line.
Yeah. So fast forward, we started doing UT logistics. We started bringing in maize, and I think when we started first 2 years, we were doing like 4 shiploads of maize and soya to feed the poultry industry. Ghana grows maize, but we don't have sufficient quantity to serve the industry and the human population all year round, because we also are a very heavy maize consumption country. So there was always a shortfall, and the industry was always struggling with high cost of inputs. And so when we chipped in as a major supplier, it really kind of stabilized the industry, stabilized prices. And I did that also for, I think, another 3.5 years. And at the time, the company was growing big. All the groups were doing well. Our industry is one that is subject to some, challenges. Bird flu. We had a particular year where we had a bird flu attack in Ghana. And obviously, 2 things took place. People's farms were affected and their birds had to be destroyed. Other people also did not want to increase their investment because that was a big risk they're going to take. So people who had sold out birds and had to pick new birds didn't pick birds. So generally, the stock population kind of fell, and if you have maize and it's meant for poultry and you can't sell, it's a big challenge.
Yeah.
I remember on one of the days, our board chair came to the warehouse and he saw the warehouse full of stocks. And he's like, people want money for loans, and you people can't sell them. Sell them maize and give me my money. But we kind of navigated, the stormy period. And I say to the glory of God that we sold out all. We never made losses, when we were doing this business. Yeah.
I think, that line, I want us to delve into that a bit, not making losses, selling out well, because you seem to have quite an experience in starting small and growing revenues into millions. And for anyone who is venturing into entrepreneurship, who is in already, how can one start small and grow their revenue?
Okay, so I think that it's important that whatever you want to start or have started, you've got to have a plan. You can't, it's good to have the plan in the head, but it's always important to document the plan and to look at the plan over and over again to improve it over the period. And of course, you've got to have a good network of people that you can bounce ideas off with. Whilst we're doing this business, we had our internal management team that we could speak to, but we also would always touch base with the industry, And I think that one of the things that worked very well for us is that you don't have a business without customers. And so it's very important.
Hetty, you've got to say that again.
You don't have a business without customers. Yeah. So it's very important that the customer is your king and your queen, whatever label you want to give them. And you have to serve well, truly well, because when we were doing this business, we sold across the country. People came from all walks of life to come and buy from us. We served people that they couldn't even put a face to our names, but just at the phone call, you would receive one of the rule in the organization was that when we give you a call, you have to tell us exactly where you are. You don't have to give me, if I say where you are, where are you? You've got to tell me exactly where you are, because you don't know what I need you to do for me at that point in time. So that became our mantra. The phone does not ring more than once that nobody answers.
Really?
Yeah. Because that could be a business on the line,
Exactly.
you know. And at worst, you cannot receive a call and not return it. So you would have customers calling, we need 10,000 bags, we need that kind of bags. Not everybody had money. We made sure that we kind of reviewed the credit history of these people. We sent a team to go and check the scale of their operation, so we could arrange some kind of financing to be able to serve them. And because we serve them right, you know, we got repeat business. And then when you do that right, when you serve a customer well, they become the marketing officers for your
Yeah.
business.
Exactly.
Without
They
salary
all-
or pay.
Absolutely. They all bring you referrals.
Yeah.
You know, they all bring you referrals. So it's very important how you treat them and giving them, you know, the right information, being truthful about everything you're doing with them, and giving them, you know, correct feedback. And I think that I would want to also add that don't just only be interested in the service you're offering them. Be interested in the holistic development of your customers. Because if they do well in other areas, or if you serve them well holistically, that's when they would know that, so it's not just about my money, but it's about you ensuring that I also thrive, you know, for the good of our partnership. And it really helps.
So Hetty, for instance, let's say I sell chicken, I sell eggs, and of course I'm doing well, I'm serving my clients well in that regard. How do I further go to make sure that what I'm offering is more holistic than just the eggs, the chicken that I'm serving them well with?
Okay,
If you can give us an example in that regard.
so for example, if you're serving chicken, for example, there are a lot of women now who are very, very busy, you know.
Just get closer to your microphone for us.
Okay,
Yes. Yeah.
so there are a lot of women who are very, very busy. They want a chicken, they don't have time to probably cut it up. So if you're selling whole chicken, you should be thinking, can I break this up into cut pieces? There are people who don't have time even to season it, you know, and would
That's true.
want you to give them
Yeah.
a whole package. They just want to toss it into the oven or
It's
into
done.
the fryer and, you know, cook it. So you have to see what added value can I give my customers.
Okay.
You can start off with a few for free. If it picks up, it becomes another product line. So now you're doing fresh chicken, you have seasoned chicken. You can even grill or you can even fry,
Yeah.
depending on the event. Some people just want it ready to cook, you know, ready to eat, and they just want it ready to eat. So you can also do that. So it's important to engage to find out if there are extra needs you can meet. But beyond that, I think you also have to be innovative. What else can I do with this product?
Okay.
Everybody is selling raw chicken, because
Yeah.
when you go from Mokola to Agbogloshi to wherever, it's raw. But what else can you do? Because people want to save time. People want to be able to. People will pay if you save them time. You know, they don't have to do anything. Just ready to eat. They
Yeah.
will give you some extra for that.
Ajay,
Jenny, I want to digress a little. I mean,
Okay.
you've openly spoken about your faith in the Lord, especially in times of storms in business. I mean, was there a particular moment that faith, not strategy, actually carried you through?
I think all the time. I have to say that it's all the time, because, you know, if you have wisdom, you have knowledge, you are favored by partners or stakeholders, it's all the grace of God. Absolutely, it's all the grace of God. So on this journey, we've hit some roadblocks, you know. We've hit some roadblocks, and there are days that you just ask yourself, so is it necessary? I mean, I think you're skilled, you can go and look for another job, or you are in this job, it's very challenging, you can do other things, why are you still in it? But it's because you know, you heard him say that he will lead you, he will guide you, he will help you. So you have to learn to be still. I don't remember. There's a phrase that I don't particularly remember, but it says that sometimes you see two footsteps, your footstep and the Lord's footsteps. But in times of difficulty, then you see only one footstep.
His footsteps.
Yes, and you're asking, God, you have abandoned me at this critical moment of my life. And he says to you, I haven't, but rather I have carried you. The footsteps you see are
Those
my
are mine.
footsteps and not yours. So on this journey, there have been moments like that, you know, that you feel you're crushed and you feel like giving up, and you're asking yourself, so have you brought me this far to put me to shame, you know? And then he tells you, in this period and in this moment that you are going through, it is I who has carried you, so you're not burdened, you know. My grace is sufficient enough for you. And the journey is a journey of faith. It's not a journey. I always say, and as I was coming here this morning, I said, God, I don't even know what to say. Just speak through me, you know, that somebody will be encouraged. It's not about me. It's about somebody whom you want the person to hear this story so that they can be encouraged. It's not about me. So it's really a walk of faith through and through.
Maybe I'm sure you have hundreds of stories, you know, that maybe you've shared with friends, family. We love stories as well.
We do ours, yeah.
I don't know
yeah.
if maybe
I'm with you.
yeah, yeah. If maybe there's a particular
Yeah.
thing, incident where you knew this was an act of faith, this was God coming through for me. I mean, you lead an organization with thousands of farmers. Decisions. Is there a particular story you don't mind sharing with us, where you say, Charlie, in this story, dear,
Okay, so in my current role, as I said to you, the business was almost dead. So I inherited legacy debt,
Oh.
you know. And you go into an organization that your shareholders have a lot of goodwill but don't have the money to support you. And you have debt with existing suppliers. And I say that I'm a very private person, always sitting in my little corner doing what I have to do, focusing there. Now I take up this role and I have to go to virtually every supplier the company owes. I don't know them, they don't know me. But because I've taken over the role as the head of the organization, I need to go and say to them that, yes, I recognize the situation, we owe you, we are committed to working to pay the money, but we still need you to help us. I tell you this, I went to some meetings and I felt really disrespected because they're like, oh, you people used to be the Malcolm of Ghana, now you are nobody. You know, they just talked me down like that, but I didn't take offense. I said, well, I'm wearing the cap now, so I can't blame them. My predecessors have messed up, and I'm bringing my face to come and smoothen the way.
I like the way you put it. I bring in my face.
Yes,
Come and smoothing
absolutely.
the way,
And you know, there were some of the meetings were very tough. Some of the meetings they could say that, okay, just pay our money. We just want our money. We don't want to deal with you again. But I just said, God, you said I should come, so I have come every step of the way. You have to show me that you are there.
Yeah.
So fast forward, one whole year, no capital injection from anywhere. But by God's grace, others said, listen, we will try you a little. I remember one time I went to a meeting, the gentleman, the finance person was like, you're lucky you're a woman. The way I came with my bazooka gun. Yeah, he says, you're lucky you're a woman. I came into this meeting to fire you. Then I said, okay, I thank God I'm a woman.
Yeah.
And we all laughed it off, you know. He said, oh, because you're a woman, I'll help you.
Wow.
But I'll give you. So they started giving us little inputs, you know. We sell, we pay, we use part of the profits to pay our debt. And to God's glory, I would say that we are at like 75% of the debts have been covered.
Wow.
And as we ended last year, everybody's like, oh, you've done well, you've done well, you've done well. And I'm just saying in my head, it's God's grace, so it's God's grace, it's God's grace. Yes, so those have been very difficult moments, Those have been very, very difficult moments. But they have seen that we want to do what is right, because we're working with an industry where they need quality inputs to get quality outputs. People think that, it's crops, so you can give them anything, but that could be poison, and that can end up in me and you, our food basket. So it's important that we're giving the right products to the farmers. We're educating them on the right application, so that the end results on your table and my table will be safe. And so we've navigated that course. We're not fully out of it, but we see a lot of traction, we see a lot of goodwill now, and we know that by God's grace we will build on better even this year and the years going ahead.
Jenny, I'm just wondering how many of us will enter a space where you read a rap sheet and you think, no, this one, that there's such a big mess. You don't have to go there. It must be God. And it must be some kind of maybe fighting spirit in you. Because I probably would never enter an organization where clearly
and
there's
you
fire
were
on
not
the
paid
mountain.
for 6 months.
You did? Really?
You've not spoken about that.
You were not paid for 6 months. You've got to self-finance and even pay some of the company costs with your own resources, because you want to get things moving.
You would do that?
Yeah, that's what I had to do. Yeah.
Jen, I want to talk about family now.
Before family, I think I still want to. I want to still gather a few things, because I've heard that you're a very diligent and meticulous person, and as a business person, you would bank your sales daily. And I want you to speak to an entrepreneur who's listening in right now why that is so essential. Small businesses, small sales come, you spend. How do you incorporate that discipline in your business to make sure that you're banking it? How does it contribute to helping your business thrive? And then Ajimai can come with family.
Okay, so for every business, and I have to be honest, I didn't start off like that, because most businesses, especially in a part of the world, when we start a business, it's one pot of money. You take out for family expense, you take out for business. But I've learned along the journey that it's very important to separate the lines, and cut yourself a salary, even if it's 100 cedis. Just know that that's what you're entitled to. Have a bank account, and now technology has made it so easy. You can have a bank account on your wallet, or you can have one physical one in an institution. But it's important to have a bank account, and it's important to draw the lines. Cut yourself a salary, no matter how small it is. And I would say, like me, earlier on when I started, I would do multiple things to take care of family needs. So that
Please
I don't
share
have
the
to
list. Henrietta, share the list with us.
So that I don't have to dip my hands into the business money. So
Henrietta, the list, share small of the list. The
I
many.
told you, I sold chicken, I sold eggs, and I always say that, listen, God gives us knowledge. You've gone to school, so you've got to do things a little bit smarter than other people.
So the chicken and eggs.
So chicken, eggs, what else? I would see some nice slippers or something. I'll find innovative way, because I have a network. I have my classmates, I have my school. I just have to share it amongst my network. Eggs, I live in a community. I said, I'm not going to put it on table and ask people to come and buy. I went from household to household, did a little survey. Do you have kids in this house? Do they eat eggs? How many eggs do they eat in a week? So if I'm to supply you eggs, how many would you need a week? I went from household to household, and then you get, it's just me and my husband, so we eat half a crate. That's it's 30, so that's 15 crates in 2 weeks. Another person says, I have young kids, I do 2 crates every week. Another one says this. So over time, before I go and pick my eggs, I know exactly where I'm taking it to. I've got my 50 eggs, and I know household. And then I said, beyond household, there are catering businesses, there are food vendors. So I go to the food vendor. Instead of you going to the market to buy, I will bring it to you, and then you get people asking for 100, 50, 120, what have you. And everybody you're sending it directly to them, and that's direct
Okay.
income stream, you know.
Mm.
So by all means, once you have schooled, you've got to find a way to win and not do the normal,
everybody's
you know,
doing.
everybody's doing.
Okay.
That will give you a lot of traction. And you talked about
The daily
separating
sales.
the
that.
income. So, as I said, try and pay yourself something, no matter how small it is. You've got to give yourself, because you're working.
Mm.
If you were putting that time in somebody else's job, you earn an income. But of course, because it's your own business, you can't pay yourself what you're worth, but give yourself some salary and ensure that every day you take the money to bank. You know, you take the money to bank, or you put it on your mobile, whichever way, and you ensure that once you're banking, you're building history. You're building history. The bank knows that every day this customer is coming in. There may be a time that you may need the bank's help. They go in, they pull the history, and they realize that, oh, okay, because you have been very consistent with your banking, you know, even if you bank and you take it out every day, it's not a problem, but the
Okay.
history builds up. So it tells you what your turnover is, and then on that basis, you can get support, you know. And if even a partner wants to come on board and not a bank, you can show them history of your turnover, because you got a bank statement to prove what you've been doing. But if you're not banking and you're just taking it and always trading, you're not building history, and that I don't think will help you if you want to grow your business. You should definitely have some history, keep records, and all of that. Yeah.
This is the Start Right Reset series. We're live on Facebook, also on YouTube. I mean, if you're into agribusiness, you want to venture into it, you can ask, drop a question below our live feed. We are happy to ask Henrietta on your behalf. We are with Henrietta Opokua Amissah, Managing Director of Cocoa Inputs Limited. Ajimai, I wanted to find out more about family. Ajimai.
The last couple of years that you went to Cocoa Inputs, I mean, months without salary, decisions, time spent on the field and all. How would you say the kind of family you have sort of played a role, maybe in the leader and entrepreneur that you have become, especially with Cocoa Inputs? Because it looks to me you were fighting in there.
Fighting, I would say yes. But you know, I'm blessed to be married to a very kind-hearted, God-fearing man, Kojo Amissah, and he's been very, very supportive along the journey. I should even say this, you know, that for all the jobs I have ventured in, he's been the one who's saying, "Oh, Hetty, you can do it. Go for it." You know, so earlier on, I've always had a very challenging career, and so we have agreed, or we have an understanding that, you know, if you want to raise your family well, we can't all put our head in that full-time loaded corporate world, and then the kids may suffer. So he's always been doing stuff on his own, and that gives him the flexibility to be very present in the kids' lives, taking them to school, etc. And being who I am also, I'm a very family-oriented person. So I'm very involved with the kids. Well, now the kids are young adults by God's grace, but we build the right foundation. You know, we were focused on the kind of education we wanted to give them. You know, and by God's grace, we have kind of stayed the course. You know, and we're happy for the kind of fruits we're seeing in their lives. So work has been challenging, but Kojo has been very, very supportive, and that has really helped, you know, to make the journey easy. Because I remember back in the days, I used to run my home from the phone, and that used to really torment me. Because by 6 I've left home. I'm driving back by 11 p.m. I've not hit my gate, you know. And one time in my previous career, I was fully pregnant like that, you know, and we had a vessel arriving with maize. It was already in Ghana waters. It was docking the following morning, and I knew I had to go for antenatal. I would be late for whatever. And so I was ensuring that everything, all the I's were dotted, the T's were crossed, and I left my office. Kojo came in around 9 p.m. He waited till about 11, thereabouts, and we left the office. Tema drove all the way. By the time we hit the gate, it was 12 midnight.
Wow.
And the following morning, I was not meant to deliver, but my baby had to come.
No, this baby would have to come.
So the baby had to come. Yeah. So that's part of the story. But as I was saying, family is very important to us. We decided that we wanted to give. It's a lot of sacrifice. My mom made a statement recently, and I just laughed in my head. And we decided that this is what the journey we want to go on to. We are committed to being excellent professionals, but there's no way that we're going to compromise on family and our kids, because we feel that if you invest in them well, you're not only building good people for yourself, but you're building good people for the nations, and we're happy that we've done what we've done. It's not been easy though, but we're very happy we've done what we've done.
What would you say has been your greatest accomplishment looking back on your life?
I think how we've been able to raise our children. I won't even talk about career, because when you have raised children well and they are very appreciative of what you have done for them, they're always thankful. They're always thankful because I keep telling them that, listen, in this world or in this economy you're living in, you're not competing with Ghanaian kids. You're competing in a global village. That you must have that kind of mindset, because there are people who are living in Ghana. They're not working in any organization, but they're working in big multinationals abroad, and they're working remotely. So set yourself up such that you're not your peers are not the Ghanaian peers you're competing with. You should take advantage of all of the opportunity to become a global citizen, and we've kind of pumped that into their head. And yes, there are children, sometimes a little foolishness here and there, but by and large, like they acknowledge and they see that, oh, my parents push, but it's for a good cause, So I think for that, we're really grateful, and we're continuing to trust the Lord to guide and order their steps, aright, until,
A few messages here. Mary Cody says, very inspiring. Thanks, Mummy. Adwa says, so inspiring a session. Proud of you, sister-in-law. Michael Kuku Opuni Frimpong says, thanks for the wisdom shared, Auntie Henrietta. This one says, can I have her contact? I'm Regina and I want to venture into farming and I need advice. I wish you had asked the question, so when she answers, all of us too can receive. So just in case next year I decide to go into farming, I remember that.
I have a question.
Regina asked the question and Henrietta answered.
I think I would ask a question on Regina's behalf.
Oh, okay.
Okay. For those of us, for all the hundreds of people who are listening to us right now, who may want to venture into agribusiness, what are maybe 2, maybe 3 pitfalls that people should consciously avoid?
Okay, so the agricultural value chain is really broad, from production right to processing to marketing. I think that for any agribusiness that you want to venture in, it's important that you're present in the business. I won't say physical presence is key, especially if you want to go into farming. You can't be an absentee farmer, So that, I would say that's something people need to look out for, especially if you want to go into any kind of investment, farming, whatever. It's important you're involved, you're physically present, because lots of issues in there. That's the first. The second one I would want to say is that even though you will put in processes, I have suffered some losses, because I have put in processes, but if you don't audit your process, you don't check, you don't reconcile your accounts, people can take advantage of you. So as I said, I've suffered some losses because I got very busy with cocoa inputs. The little agribusiness I was running, even though I'd put in processes and systems, I just didn't have the time to reconcile my account. And one of the staff found loopholes. When he has received cash, he'll write Momo because he knows, the woman, she's gone to some cocoa farm.
Yeah.
She doesn't have time to do her reconciliation. So by the time I realized, he had, taking a lot of money out of the business.
Wow.
So two things. It's important that you're physically present if you're going to do physical stuff, but more importantly also, if you have processes, check them.
Okay.
Find time, and even if it means you have to spread the work to your household, please do. So that they can be your eye, on the ground. Sometimes, and I think that's the biggest fault of me, I want to do things myself, because I have to see it myself. But you've got to also, I'm learning to delegate. You have to learn to trust people to do things on your behalf. Be patient with them. They're not like you. They don't have the same skill set as you, exposure, what have you. So teach people and let them begin to think like you. And if they begin to think like you, they will begin to act like you. They'll begin to see the errors you will see if you're doing it yourself. But a lot of time, we're like, okay, I'll make time for it. And you never make time for it. And by the time you realize, you've made a big loss.
I think finally what I would like to ask as we're wrapping up this morning is for anyone, you talked about how you felt your role at the British High Commission at a point was not challenging anymore. For anyone who feels they're in such a place where I've done this, I've done it all, I've seen it all here, and there's no challenge. I want something new. I want a fresh start in another industry, in another area. What are a couple of steps you would encourage them to take for anyone in that phase of their lives?
All right. So, for whatever profession you're in, you learn a lot of skills. Sometimes you don't even place value on it, but it's important, So if you are in a phase of your life where you feel that, this is not challenging, my first advice is for you to always ask the Lord, what next? Because I think that God wants us to have fulfillment. The tendency to be in a job where you don't feel fulfilled, you've seen it all, is that if you don't take care, you will start dipping, and all the good works, you always want to exit at your peak when the shout is loudest, they say. So it's important that you're asking God to guide you. It's also important to ask yourself, okay, so what are my interests? What needs are there in society? What problems are there that I can solve and monetize these problems, And then look to yourself and count on your fingers, what do I have? So for example, Sokoni, when I decided to set up Sokoni, I asked myself, what do I have? I had knowledge, right? I knew where to source the products from. I had customers also, and I had a lot of God's grace, and I decided to jump. The thing about leaving is that if you don't decide to leave, you can't leave. Because you'll be thinking, you talked about the Reverend Minister who was very comfortable in a professional job, etc. But at a point in time, he just felt the notch. This is the time to leave. So when you decide, you just have to move. Don't wait. Sometimes we're waiting for, I want the right time to come. I want to have all the resources and the knowledge. Those things will never come together at once for you. But when you take that step, step by step, things will begin to fall in place. It gives you the freedom to also think, and to explore and to see who you can partner with or who you can collaborate with, who you can learn from. But if you are sitting in a full-time job, you are accountable to your employer.
Yeah.
You cannot be using his time to do your private stuff, and ethically it's not right.
Yeah.
There are people who are multitasking, but if you want to really do this, I think you must trust in the Lord, check out what you have, take a step of faith and just jump. Because Lisa Nicole will say that, step at the edge of it and jump anyway. You either fly or you will fall. But until you do that jump, you don't know
You
the
won't know
state
which
you will be
either.
in. And by all means, by God's grace, you won't fall. You will fly. So just
Amen.
jump.
I'm going to be flying.
The things she
yeah,
had,
yeah.
amongst it was a lot of God's grace.
A lot of it.
Yes.
I hear she has Hetty, you have an agribusiness seminar coming up. Tell me about it.
Okay, so I think 2 years ago, as I mentioned to you, I decided to mentor university students, and I've been mixing that with work, and I
Okay.
haven't been too good at it. But
Okay.
I really want to set it up properly, because there are a lot of opportunities in the agricultural value chain. See, I keep saying to young people that you can't go and study agric and tell me at the end of the day that you don't know what to do. Because now, with technology, with all these things, there's so many things that are enablers, and a lot of young kids or young adults are doing fantastic stuff, So basically, what I'm doing with this seminar is that I'm not only speaking to them about sharing my experiences, I'm bringing my network.
Okay.
So I'm bringing people from different space with the agribusiness value chain to speak to young people, to open their eyes to the opportunity within the space. It would also interest you to know that a lot of great people are doing stuff in that space, and they have no agric knowledge.
Interesting.
I've met a lot of computer science people or IT people who are into agric, but they are combining their tech knowledge with agriculture, and they're transforming the landscape. So I keep saying to the young people that, listen, you can't be in University of Ghana and all your course mates are in faculty or in the School of Agric. You've got business school, you've got law school, you've got
Liaise with them.
psychology, you've got biochem.
Geology. I don't know the
Everything.
connection
By
yet,
the
but
time you leave, by the time you're leaving this campus, you already have a business plan.
Yeah.
Because you know the lawyer who can help you with your registration.
Yeah.
You know the business guy who can help you do your business plan. You've got all the people, but it's like people just go and study and just leave. They don't
you
even
just meet
network
at
and
parties, drink,
connect
and talk and
with
say
the-
hi.
with a space. And
Yeah.
University of Ghana, I don't know what the population is now, but it's over maybe 80,000.
Hetty, when is this? When is this program?
I haven't said the date yet. Because
Okay. Maybe I'll let you leave your number so we can harass you. Our listeners can also harass you and say, we heard you on Sunny. Please, when is this coming up? But Henrietta supplies feed, eggs, chicken. This morning, for anyone who's in need of those, is there any contact they can reach you on?
All right,
Quick
so
contact, yeah.
my contact number is 0246 080724.
Again, please.
0246 080724.
All right, so you can call to place an order and also call to ask her, please, Auntie Henrietta Dabe, the seminar, no when? We're getting ready for it.
We probably
Yeah.
should follow up on this seminar.
Exactly.
And share it with our listeners,
Yeah.
Those who would want to be there. There's Ayika Le Ashete. Says, many thanks for the knowledge shared. Hetty, I admire your determination for excellence. This is our Moga president.
Yeah. Presido. Presido. And Rita, thank you so much for joining us on our last but
It's been
one series
amazing.
on the I Am Driven. I'm hoping to see this agribusiness seminar come to pass. If we can work on this together, we'll be excited. I mean, this year, as you mentioned, we want to fly. And if you're here and you can help our listeners us fly, we want to do that.
It reminds
Wanna
me,
do that,
Jenny,
yeah.
that on the 6th of March,
Mhm.
Sunny TV has got something coming
An
up. It's
agri-fair, so,
business fair,
Yeah.
coming up for Sunny TV as well. So we're in sync.
Yeah.
And definitely, this is a number I have to save right after the show.
Exactly. Keep your dial ready on Sunny 88.7 FM.
As we step into a brand new year, one question